Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück zu einer neuen Folge Tainted Grail. Ich habe mir jetzt überlegt, ich mache jetzt doch mal mit der Kampagne weiter. Oder beziehungsweise ich werde einmal die Kampagne bringen und einmal dann den Conquest Mode. Immer so im Wechsel. Und dass man mal so ein bisschen die Unterschiede sieht. Also legen wir mal los. Neues Spiel.
Kuenact is dying. Its barren fields provide little food, and its crumbling walls offer no protection. As the power of the Guardian men here fails, the weirdness creeps ever closer. Twisting places, creatures, and even space itself. Despite this, the people of the farmhold refuse to leave. Instead, Lord Awaken led 4 of their best on a desperate mission to Camelot. They promised to bring back help. They never returned. Now those left behind are growing desperate. They will try to bestow the burden of their fate on someone else. New heroes, with an even slimmer chance of success. Not long ago, Ephir's Forge supplied the southern lands with weapons and armor of quality comparable to arms crafted by masters of Camelot. Materials brought directly from the mines at Forlorn Swords, as well as Ephir's unrivaled knowledge, made his swords and shields particularly sought after. But with quality and renown came steep prices that not every soldier could pay out of pocket. You were the happiest person on this damned island when Ephir took you under his wing to teach you the basics of his craft. Now, the ruin of his house, the place where you spent countless hours hammering on the blacksmith's iron, looms at the edge of the weirdness, rotting away, a shade of its former glory. Your hand touches the key in your pocket. Every day it feels a little heavier. Every day you wonder whether you will be able to force yourself to walk through that door again. Why would you even try to save his legacy after he found you insufficient? After he lied to you? After he left you behind like a broken tool?
Open the door.
With hazy eyes and less than confident hands, you open the door. Maybe that last ale wasn't a good idea. Maybe it was. The fact is that now you're drunk out of your mind. But as you sit near a large workbench, you notice a piece of parchment on the floor under it. That damned letter. You've read it 1,000 times by now. You've tried to burn it 1,000 times more. Drunk as you are, it's not easy to start working at the forge, but you're way past sleeping it off. Kuenact is dying, and everyone who didn't leave by now is going down with it. You try to hammer your way through some of Ephir's sketches, but find yourself unable to replicate anything of use. You try your best, and it's a weird feeling. Something you haven't felt for a while now. You wake as the sun sets. Usually, by this time, you'd already be on your way to the inn. You might be able to force yourself to get some work done before you leave, though. The wound in your side suddenly throbs, and you punch it in response. Pain and rage overwhelming you for a moment. Only then you notice one of the farmhold's guardians standing in front of you, his mouth agape. He steps back in terror, but does not leave.
I am sorry, but it's your turn to lay an offering.
God-forsaken offering. It was not your turn today, and even if it were, you know the truth. The men here's protection won't last. Oblivion stretches its cold hands towards Kuenacht Farmhold after claiming many other parts of Avalon. Your question takes him aback.
An offering to our guardian Minnie. Have you been outside? The weirdness is close now, and Farmhold's ledger says you're next. Please, don't cause any trouble.
Time passes. Your wound throbs again, as if something was trying to rip free and join the rolling clouds of weirdness outside. Sitting here any longer would be a torture.
So, gut. Jetzt sind wir im Spiel drin. Jetzt muss ich da, glaube ich, dahin.
The local menhir now towers above you, weathered and cracked, its ribbons flapping in the wind. The thought that this tired old thing is the only protection from pure weirdness outside of Farmhold sends shivers up your spine. Menhirs, raised by Merlin himself in the Age of Conquest, are said to have different appetites. The one before you seems to best respond to fresh blood, and its thirst is not easy to quench. The menhir can be sated with animal blood, just as easily as with human offering. Unfortunately, livestock is now scarce and very expensive. You will need to hunt down some wild creature and drag it back to this place. The thought of chasing prey on the edge of weirdness makes you anxious. Your eyes slide past the Kuenacht's prison broch. Maybe there is another, safer way to appease.
So. Gut. Was müssen wir jetzt tun? Dann nochmal dahin.
You push the blade deep into your forearm. The cracked stones drink greedily as your head begins to spin. You feel the menhir's power surging. Once again, the weirdness is pushed back. Once again, the land returned to Kuenacht is smaller than before, barely reaching past the furthest buildings of the farmhold. Bystanders disperse, and you sit down to catch your breath. Most of the people are now heading for the mead hall to raise a toast for yet another day Kuenacht bought itself with blood.
Gut. So, jetzt müssen wir in die Methalle. Hab ja im ersten Video schon gesagt, dass die Kampagne mehr storylastischer ist. Und ja, da ist es falsch. Wo war die Methalle nochmal? Such. Irgendwo war sie. Nee. Ich lief mal, weil Waren brauche ich jetzt noch keine. Aber wer mich kennt, weiß, dass ich meistens sehr, sehr orientierungslos in den Spielen rumrenne. Aber wie gesagt, die Steuerung ist sehr, sehr fluffig. Nicht irgendwie, ja. Also sie ist nicht ruppig oder so, sie ist schön, ja, leichtgängig. So, jetzt sind wir im ersten Kampf. Dann, zack. Und schon haben wir das erste Kämpfchen gewonnen. Da ist noch mal eine. So. Ich Ich weiß, wir sollen in die Methalle gehen, aber ja. Erstmal schön kämpfen. Ach so. Endturn. Attack. Nochmal eine Attack. Und fertig. So. Haben wir das? Jetzt könnten wir wirklich mal die Metalle zurück. Na, da war die doch da. Ja, und?
The moods in the mead hall are sour. While relieved that the town bought some time, by now even the simplest of Kuanag's folk realize this can only go on for so long.
Was machen wir? Sprechen wir mit ihm oder sagen wir gar nichts? Na, wir sprechen mal mit
You
ihm.
walk up to them and tell them the truth. That they have no idea how it is beyond the Menhir's light. That Awaken and his group are fighting for you while you sit in the warm mead hall. That you should show them some respect. You almost believe this yourself. You take a place at the edge of the hall, while people begin to talk about sending someone else to find help for Kuanag. Many of them look toward you as they speak. You now feel stupid for drawing so much attention to yourself.
Silence!
Conversations cut off immediately. The crowd parts, and a massive figure pushes towards you. The maimed knight is here. Was he sitting in some far corner of the hall the entire time, or did he arrive just now?
Leave us alone.
Guards gently escort everyone but you outside, ignoring the pleas of people who just started their drinks. Guards take their posts on the other side of the door and make sure no one is eavesdropping by the outside wall. You're now alone with the knight, trying not to look at the bandages covering half of his face, or to think about unsettling stories you've heard about him.
You were able to talk sense into these people, to hold things together when tempers ran high. Good. You might just be the person I was hoping to find. Someone who could handle an urgent task. I kept watching you today. I needed to see how well you deal with hardships and obstacles before I tell you the truth.
Is he attempting to smile with the unspoiled half of his face? Or is it an angry grin?
It would seem this secret is even worse kept than I imagined. Yes. The Menhir won't last much longer. How do you know? A good guess, then.
When Lord Awaken left me in charge of this farmhold, I thought the task was beneath me. Turned out it's quite the opposite. I cannot travel outside anymore. Will you help me? We have to find a way to strengthen the Menhir and buy more time, so that Awaken may finish his quest. Blood is not sufficient anymore. We need another source of power to lay at its feet. In days of old, before the purges, it was druids who took care of Menhirs. The one Awaken cast out from the city may still be alive. You may also ask someone who knows a thing or two about objects infused with magic. Your people speak about a witch in the woods to the west. Maybe she knows what could help our stone.
The knight reaches for the satchel at his side and hands you a couple of candles made from strange dark wax. You shudder. You never thought you'll have to use one of these foul things.
Weird candles. Make every one of them count. Some more may still be bought around Kurnacht, but they get scarcer by the day. And do not make a mistake of thinking that their light turns you invulnerable. If you keep peering too long into the weirdness, it is bound to look back. If you don't go out there, no one will. In weeks, the town will be swallowed whole. Don't wait until the weirdness is at your very doorstep.
Jo, so. Jetzt haben wir uns die Story angehört. Viel habe ich nicht verstanden, weil mit Englisch habe ich es nicht so. Aber ich weiß, dass wir entweder die Witch, also die Hexe, oder den Druiden finden müssen und ihn fragen müssen um Hilfe. Aber das wird dann sehr wahrscheinlich im zweiten Teil passieren. An dieser Stelle blende ich mich aus, wünsche euch eine schöne Zeit und tschüss.